Hello everyone, welcome to New Gen Politics. Maine's top election official removes Trump from 2024 primary ballot. According to CNN, Maine's top election official has removed former President Donald Trump from the state's 2024 primary ballot. In a shock decision based on the 14th Amendment's, quote, insurrectionist ban, Maine's Secretary of State, Shenna Bellows, paused her decision pending a potential appeal in state court, which Trump's team said they intend to file. The decision makes Maine the second state to disqualify Trump from office after the Colorado Supreme Court handed down its own stunning ruling that removed him from the ballot earlier this month. The development is a significant victory for Trump's critics, who, citing the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, say they're trying to enforce a constitutional provision that was designed to protect the country from anti-democratic insurrectionists. Bellows, a Democrat, issued the decision Thursday after presiding over an administrative hearing earlier this month about Trump's eligibility for office. A bipartisan group of former state lawmakers filed the challenge against Trump. Quote, "I do not reach this conclusion lightly," Bellows wrote. "Democracy is sacred. I am mindful that no Secretary of State has ever deprived a presidential candidate of ballot access based on Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. I am also mindful, however, that no presidential candidate has ever before engaged in insurrection. Ratified after the Civil War, the 14th Amendment says American officials who, quote, engage in insurrection can't hold future office, but the provision is vague and doesn't say how the ban should be enforced. Most legal experts believe the U.S. Supreme Court will settle the issue for the entire country." So this is the second state to remove Trump from the ballot, which is bad because it solidifies this movement of removing presidential candidates from ballots and eliminating people's ability to vote for them. And the fact that two states have done it will incentivize other states to push even harder because it's already been done before. Here's a picture from Fox News that has the states with active litigation to bar Trump from the ballot. You have pending, voluntary dismissal by plaintiff, dismissed, pending appeal, and Trump being disqualified. So you can see several states, Minnesota, Michigan, Florida, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island all dismissed the litigations in their states. But there's several other states with continuing litigation taking place, and now two states, Colorado and Maine, that have banned Trump from their ballots. And as stated in the CNN article, most likely this is going to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and a decision will be made if states are allowed to remove Trump from the ballot, or if this needs to be a federal issue that's handled. And I think more than likely, this U.S. Supreme Court, especially being Republican-leaning, is going to side with Trump here, that he should be allowed to run, that he didn't actually cause an insurrection because he hasn't been convicted of inciting an insurrection. Democrats on the other side of the aisle say the 14th Amendment doesn't specify that one needs to be convicted of inciting an insurrection, which means that it's up to whoever to decide that somebody has committed insurrection and therefore can be removed from the ballot by whoever. And so this is a situation where the U.S. Supreme Court should come in and say, this is the standard for the whole country. This is who is allowed to decide these things and who is not. Because right now we're having an unprecedented legal battle all throughout the country about one of the most polarizing topics ever. And in this article, you can see the perspective of Maine Secretary of State, Shenna Bellows, who decided to remove him from the ballot, saying that democracy is sacred. So she's removing Trump from the ballot and not allowing people to vote for Trump in order to protect democracy. It's the most cognitively dissonant, gaslighting, manipulative thing I've seen in this whole crusade for democracy. To say that we're going to remove someone from the ballot and not give the people the choice to vote for them in order to protect democracy. Guess what? Trump is not a threat to democracy. He isn't. Trump was president. He left office, which dictators don't do. And now he's running for president legally, which dictators don't do. It's not like Trump marched to the Capitol with 50,000 soldiers and said, I'm the president still, I'm staying, there's nothing you can do to remove me. Nothing like that happened. Trump begrudgingly left office, started some legal battles, and went and played some golf. That's where we are. Trump is not an insurrectionist, and he's not a dictator. Again, dictators don't run for office. And the whole argument for the 14th Amendment is the 14th Amendment's Section 3 was added after the Civil War. And what it was meant to do, it was meant to almost in a you broke the rules so you're not allowed to play the game kind of way of banning Confederates from being allowed to hold office. That was kind of the point, was these people, we're mad that these people started a civil war And so we're going to add this thing that justifies us in allowing them not to hold office. It's like if after World War II, we passed an amendment saying Germans weren't allowed to run for office because of what Germany did. Be silly, and it wouldn't be relevant in the present day. And the reason it's intentionally vague is so it can be applied in any way they deem fit. That's the point of having vague written laws, is you can apply them in any way you see fit. And in this case, a lot of the states are applying it in the way they see fit. It's very biased. It's clear that it's along party lines. So what will this lead to? I don't know. Will other states continue to file motions and litigations to remove Trump from the ballot? Probably. Will they get overturned in their states? I think some of them will, but I think some of them will end up going all the way to the Supreme Court. Now, will the Supreme Court say that Trump is allowed to run because he has no conviction of insurrection? It's just a term that Democrats are using to describe allegedly some of his actions or conduct. There's no real conviction. So should he be banned because of that? Or will the Supreme Court cower and give it to the states and say, well, not our decision to make? I think if that's the case, it's going to end very poorly, because suddenly you're telling half of the people in each of these states that their voice is not allowed to be heard. Democracy is so sacred that we're not allowed to hold democratic elections in order to protect it. So we'll see how these legal battles play out going forward. I'm hopeful that it'll go to the Supreme Court and these bans will get shot down and basically nothing will happen. Trump will be on the ballots and it'll just be a big show of, oh, look, we removed Trump, but his cronies in the Supreme Court put him back on. I think that's the best that the Democrats can hope for, really. If it's anything worse than that, I think it could cause real severe problems for the unity of this country, for the trust in any institution in this country. When you can't trust elections, how can you trust anything? How can you comply to anything when your voice can't be heard in any way? So we'll just have to wait and see. So now you've heard what I think. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.